my name is Anika Spencer, and today we're going to be moving through a yoga flow with an emphasis on internal deep stability at your core. As we look at the structure of the core, we have in this front area your rectus abdominis, which are those crunching muscles, those six-pack muscles, and they do a great job of working for us, but they're kind of superficial when we come as terms of towards the external aspect of the body, and they're a primary mover. They're going to move your torso. They're going to change the position of your spine. In addition, you also have these oblique muscles that tend to help us out with our rotation. At the same time, we have a layer of tissue that's beneath that actually wraps around the contents of the abdomen. It runs all the way to the lumbar spine and creates this sheath all the way around this aspect of the stomach and the guts. And this area, when it's activated, we are finding a support. We're actually gathering the contents of the belly back in towards the spine, and we feel a lot of support coming into the lower back area, the lumbar spine. But it shouldn't actually restrict your movement. You should be able to activate this area without needing to limit your range of motion. It's a support system rather than a mover system. It can take a little bit of practice to attune to this area, to notice what it feels like, as well as train yourself to activate this area. You might find that stepping back from your more dramatic core work can help you ground into that space. Let's go ahead and start lying down on the floor. Bend your knees and plant your feet on your mat. Allow your hands to rest down by your side and close your eyes. Breathe in steady and slow, noticing the waistline expand. Then as you exhale, see if you can contract the sides of the waist like you're knitting in from all directions. This might be subtle rather than dramatic. Inhale, let the waistline expand. Exhale, knit in the sides of your waist like there's a corset coming from all directions. Let's aim for 20 or 30% effort. Inhale, feel the abdomen widening. Exhale, feel it contract. Inhale, abdomen widens. And feel it contract. Keep the breath steady and slow. Create some audibility if you're not already there. And take your peace sign fingers, start by pointing them at the ceiling. Then press your fingers in just to the inside of your hip points, like you're going to press down and even back in towards the spine. And you might cough or laugh or really flex the front of your core, like when you're trying to do a sit-up, and feel your fingers get pushed out with that strength. Then let your fingers sink in again. And this time, lift and tone the pelvic floor. Imagine that 30% effort, core sitting in the waist. And you might feel a flattening beneath your fingers. You're not getting pushed forward. But there may be a toning beneath your fingers. Keep that. As you inhale, move that right knee towards you. As you exhale, lower the foot back down. Inhale, move the left knee towards you. And lower the foot back down. Think of holding the waistline in, lift the knee. Then lower. Lift the left knee. Then lower. A couple more, and when we're working with the transverse abdominis, there might not be that necessity to pin the lower back towards the earth. Rather, you might leave a very small curve in the lower spine, lifting away from the earth. Still channeling the breath and tuning in to that deep inner subtle strength. Release both feet towards the earth. Take your arms wide by your sides. Lift your knees to about the height of the hips. Rotate your hips lightly to the left, then move your knees over to the right, assuming a twist. This is a lot in your lower spine. You can find a block or a book or whatever's handy for you, maybe a blanket roll, and place that right in between your knees. For a little in the neck, twist your gaze to look towards your left forearm, left elbow, left hand. Great. Bring your knees back through center. Shift the hips slightly to the right, then rotate your knees over towards the left. Same option, you can take a block right inside that space of the thighs. Great time to notice, does the knees stack up, or do the knees stack up, and could you create that? And you also might note that core sitting, creating a small lift to that smallest portion of the waist. Rather than hanging into the floor, you're supporting, still holding it neutral around the spine. Gaze can rotate to look towards your right forearm, right elbow. Bring your knees back through center. This time, float your knees right up to the height of the hips. Imagine now you have that same corseting, the knitting in around the sides of the waist. Hands can be by your sides. Then tap your right toes down and towards the earth. As you exhale, bring the knee back up. Tap your left toes down, keeping a small bend to the knees if that works, then bring the knee up. Finding that subtle core, the knitting in, take the right toes to tap. Then bring it in. Tapping the left toes. And bring it up. Keep moving slowly with your breath. You might notice if there's any gaps in this, any spaces you feel like you don't have control over. Do you lose contact with that cinching as things start to get slightly more intense? Perhaps you perceive this quiet confidence, this inner strength. And taking one more each side. Great. Stretch your legs out to long. Reach up to overhead with your fingers, lengthening through the fingers and toes. Then walk your hands and your feet over to the right side, making a little C or a banana on the floor. Take hold of your left wrist in your right hand, then reach up and over. You have an option to hook your left foot over your right ankle, but keep your left glute down. The left side of the ribs are still pressing into the floor. Sometimes it's tempting to roll all the way over and towards your hip, and then we'll miss this length of the side body, as well as that chain that runs down the outer leg. Come back through center, inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands and your feet over towards the left. Take hold of your right wrist and your left hand, draw up and over. Option to hook your right foot over your left. This side might be different, and rather than thinking of this as a deep core experience, you might think of this as a balancing or a supporting of the low back area. Great, come back through center, bend your knees again. Release your hands down by the sides of your hips. Come up and onto your forearms, pressing into the earth. Draw the shoulder blades down the back and towards one another. Then float the knees up to about the height of the hips. We'll practice keeping that lightly curving low back, so it's very small and subtle, but we'll hold in that place. As you inhale, tap your right toes down, then lift it up. Tap your left toes down, and lift it up. Still finding subtle core, not needing to make this dramatic, not needing to demonstrate your strength loudly, rather connecting to that deep inner strength, knowing that it's there, and working with it softly. Channeling the breath for 2 more cycles. Great, come back up, release your back to the floor, hold the knees close. You can rock side to side or even take some circles. Switch directions, either circling the opposite way or rocking the knees in and out. Right, then come all the way forward onto hands and knees, tabletop position. Place your hands right beneath your shoulders and your knees underneath your hips. On your inhale, tip the tail up, stretch your chest forward. As you exhale, look in, round curl. Inhale as you arch your spine. Exhale as you round the spine. Inhale as you arch. Exhale as you round. Come right back through neutral. Line up your first fingers so they're making little 11s. Curl your toes under and float your knees away from the mat. Press away from the earth. Sink your hips back towards the heels and circle your outer armpits down and towards the floor. Then elevate your hips back and up for downward facing dog. If you want a little movement, you might explore hips side to side or one heel to the earth at a time. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Take this journey forward to the top of your mat, as many steps as you like. On your inhale, find your halfway lift, extend. As you exhale, bow back in. Circle the arms all the way up, stretch tall through the spine. As you exhale, guide your hands in and towards your heart. On your inhale, circle the arms up, stretch tall. Take hold of your left wrist in your right hand, then reach up and over side body length. On your inhale, come back up. As you exhale, switch the grip, reach up and over to the opposite side. Inhale, come back up. As you exhale, bow forward to your legs, forward fold. On your inhale, find a halfway lift. As you exhale, plant your palms down, shift back in towards plank. Set both knees down and onto the mat, returning from to table. On your inhale, reach your right hand forward and your left heel back. Feel like you're reaching from that subtle core strength. As you exhale, lower the hand and the knee down. Extend from that place, reaching back through your right heel and your left hand. As you exhale, hand and knee go down. Inhale, reach out with the right hand, back with your left heel. As you exhale, hand and knee go down. Inhale, reach back with your right foot and your left hand. And place the hand and knee on the mat. Once more each side, feel that extension, the length. Exhale, hand and knee down. Extend with the left hand, right heel. Then hand and knee down. Curl your toes under, lift your hips back up to high, downward facing dog. Relax your neck. Broaden the very tops of the shoulders. Keep pressing into all 10 fingers of the hands. Lift your heels, bend your knees. Take as many steps as you like. Could be one big step forward to the top of your mat. On your inhale, extend the spine, maybe a small bend to the knees. As you exhale, bow back in and fold. Pressing into the earth, inhale, circle the arms up, stretch tall. As you exhale, guide your hands to your heart. On your inhale, reach up. Take hold of your left wrist and your right hand, stretch up and over towards the right. Inhale, back through center. Switch the grip, hold onto your right hand, reach up and over towards the left. Inhale, rise back through center, free the hands. Exhale, bow to the thighs, forward fold. Inhale for your extended spine. Exhale to plant your palms back, shift to plank. You're invited to set your knees back to the earth, repeating what we just did, or this time reach your right hand forward, reach your left heel up. We're balancing one hand, one foot. As you exhale, set the foot and the hand down. Lift the right foot, reach your left hand forward. This might test your balance. Then set the hand down. A different option might be to lift just the leg, really focusing on the back of the thigh, this strength of center. Notice if you tend to get so excited about your core strength that you actually start to round the spine or even protrude the abdomen forward. Instead, we'll keep maintaining that sensation of knitting in from all sides. Chaturanga this time. Set the knees down if you wish. Lower halfway to the earth or to the abdomen. Then press away from the earth, upward facing dog or cobra. Downward facing dog. Hips go back up to high. On your inhale, lift your right leg up. As you exhale, bring your right foot forward and between your hands. Pause here. Press your back heel down, about 45 degrees in the back foot. And really press down into your front right foot. See if you can contact that stability of your center. Knit in the sides of your waist. Feel a lightness, like you're lifting the ribs away from your hip. Then as you lift your torso, we'll rise up to your warrior one. A lot of times the low back will get triggered, or perhaps feel that space where there's an exposure to injury when we're not connected to our center in our transitions. Good. Hips are turning towards the top of your mat, but releasing any idea that we have to look all the way to forward, especially if that creates anything in the sensations of the back knee. Release your hands down and towards the earth. Shift it back to plank. Lower halfway down or to the belly. Press away from the earth. Lift your chest up, cobra or upward facing dog. As you exhale, downward facing dog, hips go back to high. On your inhale, lift your left thigh. As you exhale, bring that left foot forward in between your hands. Press the back heel down, toes are still pointing towards the top right corner of your mat. Then just press into your front left foot and see if that can help you stimulate the strength right at the midline, right at the core. Almost like you're taking in an inhale and the waistline is knitting in to support you, or like you're putting on a really tight pair of pants. On your inhale, use that strength of center to rise. As you square your hips and try on something simple with intention. Perhaps the ego kicks in and starts to tell a story that things need to be more dramatic in order to be a demonstration of steadiness. Can you stabilize the breath and feel that center space? If you have an awareness of your pelvic floor, lift it up. Release your hands down and towards the mat. Shift it back to plank. Lowering through chaturanga. An upward facing dog, press into the tops of the feet. Downward facing dog, hips go back to high. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step, walk, or if you would enjoy, you can hop lightly to the top of your mat. On your inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bow to fold. Circle the arms up, rise all the way to tall, connect your hands. As you exhale, guide your hands to your heart. Again with breath, inhale, circle the arms up. Hold the left wrist in your right hand, side body stretch. Inhale through center. Hold the right wrist, reach left, side body length. Inhale right through the middle. Exhale, bow forward to your legs. Inhale, spine extends. Exhale, palms down, shift to plank. Just one to each side. Inhale, reach your left heel back, reach your right hand forward. As you exhale, lower it down. Lift your right toes back, reach the left hand forward. Then lower it down. Lower through, halfway to the earth or all the way to the abdomen. Upward facing dog, still feeling that subtle core strength. Downward facing dog, hips go back to high. Inhale, lift with your right thigh. Exhale, right foot forward. Press into the foot, root your back heel down. Core takes you up, in breath. Core takes you down, palms plant. Shift it back to plank, lower through, or if you want to hold an extra breath in plank, that's great. Sometimes these chaturangas can start to become redundant, unnecessary, or less helpful. On your inhale, lift the left. Exhale, left foot forward. Anchor into the feet. Let that help you find your core. Then stretch up, inhale. Exhale, hands go back to the mat, frame off. Shift to plank, your last chaturanga of this series. Upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Lift your heels, bend your knees, step or walk or hop your feet to your hands. On your inhale, extend. Exhale, bow back in. Press into the earth. Inhale, circle the arms up, stretch up. As you exhale, guide your hands into your heart. Gorgeous. Root into your right foot. Then take your left foot and step it all the way to the back of your mat, setting it up for warrior two. Excellent. Take your right hand and cross it in front of your torso. And as you do, imagine that back left side of your ribs is rotating open to the side. Check with your front knee if it's trying to follow you. Nudge it back to open so it's pointing in the direction of your toes. Take your opposite left arm and stretch it up and overhead. Use that as a tool to rotate the side of your ribs open, then tip forward towards extended side angle. Good. Switch the hands. Inhale, reach back, or left hand crosses, right hand reaches. Then hover in your core strength as you tip forward. Sometimes it's nice to take the peace sign fingers of the right hand and tap that left side of the waist like, hello, participate. Join me here in this fray. As you inhale, reach back. As you exhale, hover forward. On your inhale, reach back. You can straighten out that front leg. You might even find a block and hold it now in your right hand. Wiggle your feet so that you're set up for a triangle in a way that feels fairly comfortable to you. If you want to keep that hand crossing, or if you want to keep that, just kidding, take that block up and into the air, you can take that back hand and remind the rib cage that it's wrapping open. Meanwhile, your right knee is still pointing in the direction of the toes. As you inhale, hover forward halfway, press into both feet, waistline is on. As you exhale, come back up. Yeah, keeping that right side of the waist long, try to reach forward like you're presenting the block towards someone across from you. As you exhale, rise back up. Left hand still turning the waistline open, so we're not rotating to look towards the floor. Inhale, hover halfway forward. As you exhale, lift up. Good. Release the block all the way down and towards the earth. Set your back knee all the way down and towards the floor. On your inhale, lift up. Find that nice knee dropped lunge. Then take your right hand right to the top of the thigh. Ignite the waistline, hold sturdy. Then with that support, you might start to reach the left fingers farther back, inviting some length into the front of your left hip. Release your hands down and towards the earth. Fire up your back leg. Bring the back foot forward to meet the front. Bow into fold. On your inhale, find a halfway lift. As you exhale, bow back into your thighs. Circle the arms all the way up. We'll stretch tall and kiss the hands. As you exhale, guide your hands to your heart. Root into your left foot, take your right foot, step it back to long. Open this up for warrior two. Take your left hand, cross it in front of the torso, and we'll use these crossing arms to remind the torso that they're facing the side of the mat. Meanwhile, if that tempts your front knee to change, you'll check back in and recommit. Then torso lengthens forward, both sides of the waist stay long, both sides of the waist keep hugging in, and you might tap that top side of the waist like, hey friend, please join me, please participate. As you inhale, reach back for your hovering reverse warrior. As you exhale, tip forward towards extended side angle. Again, reach back. As you exhale, hover it forward. You might want to block if that's helpful. Inhale, reach back, straighten out the front leg. Readjust the feet here. Finding a place where you can feel pretty imbalanced. Hold the waistline in, and you might feel like you're lifting the block up by turning the waistline on. Great time to touch that back line of the waist or ribs. Notice, are those ribs starting to spin forward? And if that's the case, you're going to wrap them back, keeping the sternum pointing over towards that side of the mat. On your inhale, reach and extend that block forward or the hand forward. As you exhale, come back up. Now this is working like a lever, so this is lots of weight. If you need less, you might bring that block closer towards your chest. Press into both feet as you lift up. Once more, inhale, reach forward. And lift back up. Circle the hands down and towards the earth. Lift your back heel. Soften the back knee all the way down and towards the mat. Lengthen through both sides of your waist. Come up for a knee drop lunge. Then lower your left hand down to the top of your left thigh. Right thumb draws back, but we're still going to feel that subtle core hugging in. You might remind yourself that this doesn't have to be a back bend. As a matter of fact, most of us feel a lot of benefit by keeping the back bend out of it and instead feeling that length through that back front of the hip. That said, if you are taking a back bend, that core strength, that supportive action is going to be even more important. Release the hand down and towards the earth. Fire up that back thigh. Take the back foot, step it forward, forward fold. On your inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, bow into the thighs. Circle the arms up, stretch all the way to tall, palms kiss. As you exhale, guide your hands to your heart. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh it out the mouth. Once more with just breath. As you inhale, circle the arms up. As you exhale, step back with your left foot, opening it up for warrior two. Take your right hand, cross it in front of your torso. Take your left hand, reach it up. And as you exhale, tip forward for extended side angle. On your inhale, switch the arms, reach back. As you exhale, hover it forward. Inhale, reach back. Exhale, hover it forward. Inhale, reach back, straighten out the front leg. You can adjust the feet. As you exhale, tip halfway forward towards triangle, still extending the hand for more in the core. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, tip halfway forward. Pressing into both feet, lift up. And halfway forward. Inhale to rise. Exhale, circle the hands towards the floor, lift the heel, then set the knee down. As you inhale, reach up. Exhale, place your right hand to the top of the thigh. Inhale, stretch up, feel the core draw in and reach back if you wish. As you exhale, release the hands to the mat and fire up your back leg, step forward. Inhale, extended spine. Exhale to bow in. Circle the arms up in breath. And hands to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, step it back for warrior two. Take that right arm up, cross the left hand in front, still turning open the side of the waist. As you exhale, tip forward. Inhale, reach back, cross the arms. Exhale, hover forward. Inhale, reach back, waistline still kneading in. Exhale, hover it forward. Inhale, reach back, straighten out that front thigh. You can walk the foot in. As you exhale, hover forward for your triangle. Inhale, reach up. Still nudging the top side of the waist back as you lengthen forward. You got it. Inhale. Exhale, hover forward. Inhale, reach up. Circle the hands to the mat, set your back knee down. Inhale, knee draft, crescent. Exhale, left hand roots to the left thigh. Abdomen in, ribs lifting up. Rather than the shoulders, you can reach back perhaps. As you exhale, release the hands to the floor and step that back foot forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold. Circle the arms up, stretch to tall. And bring your hands to your heart. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, bow it forward. Inhale for your halfway lift. Exhale to plant your palms and shift it back to plank. Left hand plants to the center of your mat. Roll to the pinky edge side of that left foot and stretch your right hand up for side plank. If you'd like a little support, you can set the left knee down and float up that right thigh. A little halfway point might be kickstand the right foot. You have one more breath. Feeling dynamic core on top of your inner deeper core. Take your right hand to the earth, switch it out, stretching the left hand up for side plank. We're hoping to build that commitment to your deeper core by using just that or isolating into that space to turn that musculature on, attuning to that space. Then when there's something more dramatic being asked, we're hoping you can now use both. And release, square off towards the earth, lower the knees down and towards the floor. Sink your hips back in towards the heels for child's pose. You can rock your forehead across the mat. Find that deep connection with the breath.
watching the movement of those inner layers of the abdomen. We call this space the transverse abdominis. Come back forward onto hands and knees. Take your hands and make fists, then press the backs of the knuckles into one another. Then press the backs of the palms into the floor. Keep squeezing your fingers in towards the center of the palms, then press into the earth. Relax the tops of your shoulders as you do. Great time to straighten out the elbows, but we'll hope to avoid any locking through that space if that's available for you. Then release, shake out the hands, let that go. If you have a block handy, that's great. You also might work with a towel or a blanket. If you have one of those more cushy balls handy, you can work with that as well. You can use a towel if you think that would be your best option. What we'll look for here is actually a visceral massage. So we'll stimulate this area of the abdomen, the stomach, as well as this area of the core needs length as well as some stimulation, just like anywhere else. We often benefit from, say, stimulating the quad, but we don't always get as willing to do this with the abdomen itself. So place the block on its lowest height if that's what you're working with. I like a softer block for this. You can also use the bolster or roll your towel or blanket. Then lie your core onto the block. So the block's just below the ribs and just above those 2 points of the hips. You might stay up and on the forearms like you're in a Sphinx pose here, and if you feel a heartbeat or some discomfort, that's pretty normal. You also might place your palms one on top of the other and create a little pillow for your head. Finding that place where it's okay to relax the abdomen. Perhaps releasing any myths you might have about this area of the body, the idea that the low back is needing to be flattened. Perhaps releasing any myths about your own inner strength, that it needs to be seen or understood by anyone else. Maybe now is a time for demonstration, but maybe not. Good. Then release, come off the block and roll all the way over and onto your back. Take your left foot, cross it over your right foot, cross it over your left ankle, then take hold of the back of that left hamstring. 3 breaths in your reclining pigeon. Perhaps there's more room for breath once the abdomen has that permission to soften in some ways. Release the feet, switch it out. Left ankle crosses or opposite leg if you've already gone here. And let go, extend both legs out to long. Slide the shoulder blade tips down the back. Close the eyes if you haven't already. Bring your awareness into this space of the abdomen. Notice whatever it is you feel here. Note the steadiness you can revolve or center around. Any unseen strength. Any supportive rather than limiting structures. And bring your knees closer in and towards your chest. Rotate over to either side. Press away from the earth and come all the way up and into a seat. Take your palms and kiss them lightly in front of your chest. Bowing inward to the practice and to each other, I bow to you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Excellent job. Please be sure to follow us below, subscribe to this YouTube channel, as well as reach out to us over email if you're interested in a one-on-one consult with some of our specialists. So glad to see you. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you soon.